Hi, Susan here from SusanBlueRobot.com. I'm here today with another card making video. This video was inspired by a question that Sue from the forum, also known as AJ's Grammy Sue, asked for help with a card she was doing, and I thought that's a great idea for a video, and I've asked her permission to go ahead and make it into a video. Different style to what she was doing, but the same idea which she gave me. So we'll get started. We're using Make the Cuts Pop-Up Card Studio, and we'll get started. I'm working on a card of 5 by 5, so that's 5 inches wide by 5 inches high when folded. Now, first off, we'll start on a plane of 0. Now on that plane of 0, we bring in a square, and we want that square to be a 2-inch square. So I put 2 inches with the lock on and pushed enter. Then I want it on a plane of 1.5 by 1.5 enter by 1.5 enter. And that puts it in the center. So that's in the very center of the back of the card. So when the card is open and shut, it's just there. Okay, so that's in the center. So we do a copy of that. Then we hit the space bar and put it on a plane of 1 inch from the bottom. So this is now 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to close the card. Now that plane is on 1 inch from the bottom. Bear in mind when I copy and paste it, even though it looks like I'm putting it on the outside of the card, I'm not. I'm putting it on this plane. So what I'm going to do is go paste. Then I'm going to move that into position. And I want to move it down 1 inch. So now that is completely over the 2-inch square that's on the outside and the 1 inch plane on the back of the card. So when I open this card now, I've got one here, and I've also got one here. But when they fold up, this one here is going to line up perfectly with this window here. So now what I have to do is I have to bring in another square. This one will be 3.9, enter. So it's 3.9 square, and so I put it into the center by this button here and put it down to the bottom plane. Okay. Now what I want to do is take that to the bottom, and with that bigger one selected, I want to give a shadow of -10. Accept. And I also put that one down 1. So now what I want to do is with this one, I want to do a shadow of the smallest one at 2. So that will bring us to that plane there. That same as that one there. We go accept, and we'll bring that up till it's above this one. So these two now, if I hold the shift key down, select this one and push this a line at the top, yes, a line at the top, they're both equal. So now what I'm going to do with those two selected is I'm going to do a Boolean join, and I'm going to go difference. Now Boolean join difference apply took away that outer one of the 2-inch square. So now what we do is select everything on that plane and we go join. So what we have here is an outer frame and a tiny inner frame. Now we hit the space bar and we go to this one here, which we now need to put in a snapping of a 1/8 of an inch or higher, 2-point rec, and we put in an anchor here. Then with the select tool we go back to this plane. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put not so much a lattice work, but we're going to use circles as our lattice. So this is the one I liked to do. Instead of getting a circle and doing inner, I took this donut, I put a donut in, then I gave it an inward shadow of -2. I go accept. Then I took that aside and I threw away the original donut. I liked this because I didn't have to think so much to get exactly the circle that I wanted. So you could get a circle and do an inward shadow. That's perfectly fine. You go throw away the donut. Now, with this one selected, I go copy, paste, and I put it, say, in position. I'm not going to go over into this area here. I want to leave this area with no circles. And as you put them in, you can alter the size. Take off the snapping. You can alter the size a lot easier and better. So I'm just going to put that one in there. Then I'm going to go paste again and make this one smaller. Smaller again. Overlap them with parts. And we can paste in place. And it's just joining the way you'd like it to sit. Remember not to go into this part here. And we go paste. And this last one down here, I might make it so it's overlapping like that. We go paste again. Very little one. And I'll put that there. So then we have the start of it. So what I'll do is I'll copy that, paste in place, then move that aside. Now instead of having it so it's equal there and there, I can flip that and go, does that look alright? And we move it around till we're happy. Of course, you can go back and shrink some of these if they're in the way. But we still want them touching. The idea is to have them touching enough so when we weld, that whole lattice part is not going to be falling out. And we go paste in place again, and we'll move this and we'll go turn by 90 degrees and click off it, click on there, and we'll take some of these in. Oops, try not to move the other. And we put that there. And of course, you can add more circles. It's just a matter of getting what I'm calling this a lattice work. And yes, I know it's not really lattice work, but it's just to join the pieces so they won't all fall out, and it gives it a little bit more stability. Okay, and we go paste in place, and I just want to put one over this side for a bit more. Okay, now we'll take this one, shrink that down, and we'll add this up here. Make it a bit bigger. Take your time. And the thing is, this is all meant to be enjoyable, no stress. So when we think they're all got something to overlap with, we then select all, do a weld, and that's what we have. A nice lattice work. Now what we do is I'll just turn this around so you can get the idea of what's happening. If I close the card, that latticey work that I just did with the circles is going to be hidden when it's closed, and we've still got this view, this here, that can be seen either when it's closed or when it's open. So we're going to bring some wording in. I'm going to bring in the word for you. Go add, back to the select tool, select them, rotate by 90, split by glyph or split, so that keeps the inners together. Now I bring it in, put it into the card here and here. So now you'll get a gist of what the card's going to be. To turn, I turn it to the arrows. Hold the control key down, gives you more control over how it turns. And hold the control key down. I want these slightly overlapping. And we select them. And I'm going to just resize that a bit so it's overlapping both the top here and this side, so it's going to hold in and not fall out. Now I need to go to the O and turn that, hold the control key down, and we now turn this up here, and we'll just stretch it out this way a bit. Just so we know that these are not going to fall out, they're overlapped. So then we select everything on there. We go join, and now everything's joined to somewhere and it's going to be held in. So then what we have is our card. That looks like this. When it's closed, it's like this, and when it's open, it's like this. So what you would do is you'd save this, and you'd save it as for you. Then you go save. In this case, I've already got one there. I don't want to save over that. Right, then what you do, that's your card complete. You can cut your card out directly from this program by going cut to machine. Then what you have is you turn off your cut lines, so you just have your mount and your score and hinge lines. If there is any hinge lines, you leave them marked. Then you go begin cutting. You wind it up to what you do use. I use a scoring tool on my sink, and I leave it at dots and dashes, and I cut it 160, and I let it go 3 times. I use what you see is what you get. I go set the blade origin, and I put I use these keys to move the laser into the corner of the mat, and then I go finish and cut. Then after it's finished doing the score lines, I leave the mat in the machine and I turn on the cut lines and turn off the hinge, mountain and valley folds, which leaves the cut lines only. So what I do now is I begin cuttings. I take it down to what I use for my cutting, and I go blade, use last, because that will take it back to exactly what you used with your scoring tool in. You've now got your blade tool in, and then you go finish and cut project. Then you have your work, and you go finish. Now that's cut out your inside of your card, which looks like this when you print preview. You've got your score lines here, your cut work and your window here. Now what you do is you now save it. Save as, and this time I'd save as for you outside of card, and then I'd go save, and in this case I've already got it there. So after I've now saved that, all I do now is turn my plane back on, select that, go delete that with the delete key, hold the D key down and go to this plane and go delete. Now what I have is I have my card with just the outside opening. So this is going to be for my card when it's cut. Right. The only other thing is I can do a global operation to have this remain in the middle, in the right place for my card, but I can have a border around the rest of the card by going global operations, and the width I want it 5.5 and the height I want it 5.25, and I go apply. So that is left this 2-inch square in exactly the same position. It's just evenly altered your card to bigger. So then I'd go save that, and then I'd go either export to SVG or straight from the machine again, leaving that. I turn the cut lines off, do me score lines with my score tool the same way I did the other. Then after that's over, I'll turn these off and do my cutting with my cutting tool the same way used last. And so then you end up with a card that opens and shuts like this, and it opens and it shuts and it gives a nice effect. You've got to visualize that this has the outer card on it, because I've generated this in the virtual shot. So I hope this helps. This has been Susan Blue Robot at susanbluerobot.com. If you'd like to order Make the Cut Pop-Up Card Studio, if you follow a link from my blog, it'll help support my blog. And thanks for visiting. Also a big thanks to Sue, also known as AJ's Grammy Sue's, on the forum, who allowed me to go ahead and do this video. It's a wonderful idea, and I'd love to see what you all do with the view from the outside into the pop-up. Thanks for visiting. Bye for now.